There is a moment that almost every Shih Tzu owner has experienced. But many people never stop to think about what it actually means. You stand up from your chair to grab a glass of water. Your Shih Tzu lifts its head immediately. You walk toward the kitchen. A few seconds later, you hear the soft sound of tiny paws behind you. You sit down somewhere else in the house. And without hesitation, that little dog curls up right next to you again. No treat, no toy, nothing exciting happening, just quiet companionship. Most people look at this and say, something simple, my dog is clingy. But if you study canine behavior closely, especially in companion breeds like Shih Tzu, you begin to realize something deeper is happening inside that small brain. That behavior is not neediness. It is not boredom. And it is definitely not random. It is one of the clearest biological signs of attachment a dog can show. In behavioral science, this pattern is called proximity seeking. It means the animal consistently chooses to remain physically close to a specific individual it trusts. This concept comes from attachment theory, the same framework scientists originally used to understand how human infants bond with caregivers. And surprisingly, research over the last 2 decades has shown that dogs form very similar attachment patterns with their owners. A well-known study led by behavioral researcher Adam Miklosi at Eötvös Loránd University in Hungary demonstrated that dogs treat their primary owner in a way that closely resembles how children treat a parent. When placed in unfamiliar environments, dogs repeatedly look toward their owner, moved closer to them, and used them as a base of safety. The owner essentially became what scientists call a secure base. Now, think about your Shih Tzu for a moment. When something unusual happens in the house, where does your dog look first? When a strange noise appears outside, who does your dog glance at? And when everything is calm and quiet, where does your dog choose to lie down? If the answer to those questions is near you, then you are not just the person who feeds that dog. You are the center of its safety map. And Shih Tzus are particularly fascinating in this regard because of their history. Unlike working breeds that were developed to herd sheep or guard property, the Shih Tzu was bred almost entirely for companionship. For centuries in imperial China, these dogs lived inside royal palaces. Their primary job was not hunting or guarding. Their job was simply to stay close to people, provide presence, and maintain social connection. In other words, the Shih Tzu brain has been shaped for generations to value human proximity more than almost any other breed. That is why many Shih Tzu owners notice a very specific pattern. Your dog might greet everyone politely when they enter the house. It might wag its tail at guests. It might accept attention from other family members. But when the excitement fades and things become quiet again, that little dog tends to drift back toward one particular person. And often, that person is you. Watch closely the next time you move around your home. Your Shih Tzu may not follow every single person in the house. It might ignore someone walking to another room. But the moment you move, the dog adjusts its position as well. Sometimes it simply lifts its head and watches. Sometimes it quietly follows behind. Sometimes it walks ahead and settles somewhere nearby, as if predicting where you are going. That pattern is not an accident. It is the dog's brain constantly tracking the individual it considers most important to its environment. From a neurological perspective, dogs are extremely sensitive to human movement patterns. Their brains are very good at detecting routine. Over time, your Shih Tzu learns your rhythms when you usually stand up, when you go to the kitchen, when you sit at your desk, when you relax in the evening. Once those rhythms become predictable, the dog begins aligning its own behavior with yours. This synchronization is actually a sign of strong bonding. And here is something even more interesting. Many Shih Tzus do not follow their person because they expect a reward. In fact, researchers studying dog behavior often separate reward-driven behavior from attachment-driven behavior. If a dog only approaches you when food is involved, that is reward-driven. But when a dog chooses to stay near you, even when nothing is happening, that is attachment. This is why your Shih Tzu might lie quietly at your feet while you work, even if you are not interacting with it at all. In the wild, dogs and wolves maintain close physical distance with trusted members of their social group. Staying near one another increases safety, improves communication, and strengthens social bonds. That instinct did not disappear when dogs began living in our homes. It simply shifted toward humans. So when your Shih Tzu follows you into another room and lies down nearby, the dog is performing a behavior that has existed in canine social systems for thousands of years. But now, that behavior is directed toward you. There is also an emotional component happening inside the dog's body during these quiet moments. Studies on dog-human interaction show that being near a trusted owner can lower stress hormones in dogs. Heart rate stabilizes. Breathing slows. The nervous system relaxes. In simple terms, the presence of a trusted human helps regulate the dog's internal state. That means your Shih Tzu is not just choosing to sit next to you, your presence literally helps its body feel safe. And once you start noticing this pattern, you will see it everywhere. Your dog lying beside your chair while you work. Your dog shifting position when you move to the couch. Your dog quietly walking behind you down the hallway. These small behaviors are easy to overlook because they are so calm and ordinary. But in the language of dogs, calm proximity is one of the clearest expressions of trust. Excitement is loud. Attachment is quiet. A Shih Tzu that explodes with excitement when you come home is happy to see you. But a Shih Tzu that chooses to stay beside you during completely ordinary moments is showing something deeper. It is showing that your presence has become part of its sense of stability. And in the social world of a dog, that kind of bond is incredibly meaningful. Now, let's look at something many Shih Tzu owners misunderstand. People often assume small dogs do not have protective instincts. They see a tiny face, a soft coat, and a gentle personality. And they assume protection only belongs to large guard breeds. But protection in dogs does not always mean barking loudly or chasing strangers. Very often, it appears as something much quieter, heightened awareness around the person they trust most. If you watch your Shih Tzu carefully, you may notice a subtle change when someone unfamiliar approaches you. The dog might move slightly closer to your feet, the ears lift, the body becomes a little more still. The eyes follow the stranger carefully. It is not aggression. It is observation. Behavior scientists call this process social referencing. In simple terms, dogs constantly look at their owners to decide how to interpret new situations. A study published in Animal Cognition found that dogs repeatedly check their owner's face when encountering something uncertain. They read human reactions and then adjust their own behavior accordingly. That means when your Shih Tzu watches a stranger while staying close to you, the dog is not simply curious. Its brain is gathering information. It is asking a silent question. Is this situation safe for my human? This becomes especially interesting with companion breeds like Shih Tzu. Unlike guard dogs that respond quickly and loudly, Shih Tzus often respond with vigilance rather than confrontation. They observe first. They stay near their person. They monitor the environment. You might notice this when someone new enters your home. Your Shih Tzu may not run forward immediately. Instead, it stays near you and studies the person from a short distance. Once the dog sees that you are relaxed and comfortable, the body language softens. The muscles loosen. The dog may finally approach to greet the guest. This sequence reveals an important detail about how dogs process social information. Your Shih Tzu uses you as a reference point for safety. If you appear calm, the dog's brain interprets the situation as safe. If you seem tense or uncertain, the dog becomes more alert. Another behavior many owners notice happens during quiet moments in the house. Your Shih Tzu might lie beside you, but its body is facing the room rather than facing you. The dog looks relaxed. Yet, it occasionally scans the environment or glances toward the door. From an evolutionary perspective, this behavior makes perfect sense. In canine social groups, some members rest while remaining aware of the surroundings. It is a balance between relaxation and environmental monitoring. When your Shih Tzu lies near you while watching the room, it is combining two instincts at once: attachment and awareness. This does not mean your dog is anxious or stressed. In fact, it usually means the opposite. The dog feels safe enough to relax, but it still keeps track of what is happening around the person it values most. Over time, this pattern becomes stronger. Your Shih Tzu begins learning who belongs in the household and who does not. Familiar people trigger relaxed behavior. Unfamiliar movement triggers brief attention. But throughout all of these changes, the dog keeps one constant reference point. That reference point is you. So the next time someone enters your home and your Shih Tzu quietly shifts position beside you, pay attention to what happens next. Watch the ears. Watch the eyes. Watch how the body relaxes once the situation feels normal again. Those small adjustments are not random habits. They are the subtle signs of a dog whose brain has linked your safety with its own awareness of the world. Now, here is a detail that surprises many Shih Tzu owners. And it might even feel a little confusing the first time you notice it. Your Shih Tzu clearly loves being close to you. It follows you around the house. It sleeps beside you. It leans into you for comfort. But sometimes, in the middle of petting or playing, the dog suddenly turns its head away. Maybe it steps a little to the side. Occasionally, it even gives a soft, low growl that sounds more like a whisper than a warning. Many owners interpret this moment the wrong way. They think the dog is annoyed or rejecting them. In reality, this behavior is often a sign of emotional security, not rejection. Dogs communicate their comfort levels through body language long before they feel the need to react strongly. In canine behavior science, these small signals are often called calming signals. Researchers and trainers have observed that dogs use movements like turning their head, blinking slowly, licking their lips, or stepping away to regulate social interaction and avoid conflict. When a Shih Tzu gently signals that something is a little too much, the dog is not ending the relationship. It is adjusting the interaction. Think about healthy social relationships between humans. The strongest relationships are not the ones where boundaries disappear. They are the ones where both sides can communicate limits safely. Dogs operate under the same principle inside their social system. A Shih Tzu that feels insecure may skip these small signals entirely and jump straight to defensive behavior. But a Shih Tzu that trusts its owner often does the opposite. It communicates early and softly because it believes the human will understand. You might notice a pattern. The dog steps away for a moment, pose, then returns to sit beside you again. A few seconds later, the connection is still there. The dog simply needed a brief adjustment. This ability to regulate interaction shows that the dog sees you as a stable and predictable partner in its environment. And that brings us to one final behavior that ties everything together. Watch where your Shih Tzu chooses to sleep. Sleep is the most vulnerable state any animal experiences. In the wild, a sleeping animal is unable to respond quickly to danger. Because of that, social animals often rest close to individuals they trust the most. Proximity during sleep increases survival and strengthens group bonds. Your Shih Tzu still carries that ancient instinct. Some Shih Tzus sleep at the foot of the bed. Some curl against their owner's legs. Some choose a spot near the bedroom door while keeping their body oriented toward the person they trust. And occasionally, a dog will sleep completely on its back with its belly exposed, which is one of the clearest signs of total relaxation a dog can show. That position means the nervous system has fully switched into a safe state. No tension. No alertness. Just trust. And the fascinating thing is that the dog could choose any place in the house to sleep, yet night after night. Many Shih Tzus return to the same location near the same person, you. So when we step back and look at all these behaviors together, a clearer picture begins to form. Your Shih Tzu follows you through the house because your presence represents safety. It watches the environment when strangers appear because your well-being matters in its social world. It leans into you because physical contact regulates its emotional state. It communicates boundaries because it trusts you to understand. And it sleeps near you because vulnerability only feels safe beside someone reliable. None of these actions are loud or dramatic. In fact, most of them are quiet enough that many owners overlook them completely. But in the language of dogs, quiet behaviors often carry the deepest meaning. Excitement is easy to notice. Trust is subtle. And when a Shih Tzu consistently chooses your presence during the most ordinary moments of the day, that small dog is saying something profound in the only language it has. In its world, you are not just the person who provides food or toys. You are the place where life feels stable. And for a dog, that is one of the strongest forms of love that exists.